And we are live. Hello, everyone.
Hello, welcome
So,
back to another fun stream in the round of 128 here.
sorry we're a bit late. We still had to give the players the maps. It seems
Yeah,
SuperNapoleon will be playing China. The first map will be Bengal, by the way.
yeah, an interesting map here, a non-TP map. So we'll see how it affects our choices. We see Super Napoleon is already choosing China.
Are you ready?
And oh, how
cbrutkow hovering over Dutch. I don't know how to pronounce his
I
name.
don't know either. I was just gonna ask you how to pronounce it. Okay,
I'm gonna go for cbrutkow, but that's a bit difficult to pronounce.
Cbrutkow. I
I'll just
can
call him
go on
Cow
with that.
because that's cool.
Cow. All right. Um, I like their civ choices here. Neither one of these civs are a TP-oriented one. I know China sometimes likes to drop a trading post with their 700 wood shipment, but I still think they're good here, especially now because this version of the map has cows, and cows are always good for China.
Yeah, China does do great on cows. And yeah, they might like TPs both these cities, but it's not like Germany where you just basically need to have a TP.
Right, exactly.
I was thinking it used to be free for all.
Yeah. And Dutch with the buff and the experience they get from making banks, they're one of the better choices on non-TP maps, I think, especially considering how strong they are regularly.
So we're just waiting for Mr. Cow to green up, and then we're good to go. Maybe he's still thinking about this Dutch. Oh, he can't green up. Oh, of course, he's
Oh,
waiting for the map. Yeah.
downloading the map.
Oh,
There we
yep,
go.
there we go.
Okay. All right. So neither one of these players I'm really super familiar with.
No, I haven't heard either of these names either. By the way,
So,
if there is something wrong with the sound, please let us know in chat. I'm sure someone will inform me. I forgot to put Skype on Do Not Disturb. Oh well.
oh well. Pretty much the only thing you can
I'll
say
quickly do it and no one will notice.
there.
Shh.
All right. So it looks like spawning on the right side of the map here, playing the Dutch in the color red. We have cbrutkow, aka Cow, and in the left we have Super Napoleon green playing China.
And we're going to see some dead elephants here, sadly. Of course, Bengal is one of those maps where the humans are racist towards the elephant, killing them for food.
They are, rest in peace, poor elephants. But
But you know, sometimes you just have to do what you have to do to win games of Age of Empires 3.
that's right. And the first dead elephant coming here out of Mr. Cow.
We'll have to
So
see who can get the most cows here, but I do think China has the advantage for that due to the disciple. It's actually not moving yet.
right, maybe that's a bit of a blunder here, but he's moving now. That's all right. Not too much time lost. He
Oh, and
did
Cow
pick up.
actually has a second scout as well in the envoy, of course, so never mind what I
Yeah,
said.
and actually, red is heading right over to where green's cows or their water buffalo here are spawning.
Yeah,
Um,
Dutch is going to get the most cows here, which is actually pretty relevant because China loves livestock. They
yeah,
can't find it on their
definitely.
villages, which is just so good for them.
So his disciple is coming here. China did pick up 50 wood treasure at the very start, which is nice. Cuts down his wood gather rate for his second village.
Yeah, but
Uh,
China might actually not even get a single cow here because he's going for more treasures, it seems. He might be able
yeah.
to get this one, depending where his disciple goes, but... Oh, he might actually steal the cow! Yeah, he stole one of Dutch's cows with the disciple
Ooh.
being AFK. Nice.
That's that's definitely planned on his part, right? He was just
Oh,
waiting
for
there.
sure. He's like, if I
waiting
place
to
my
intercept
disciple
it.
here, it's exactly out of the fog of war, and he will never notice.
Oh, very smart.
It's like that scene in Jurassic Park. If you stand still, it can't see you.
China has a shipment. Okay, there he sends it. So yes, and Dutch picking up, what is this, 40 coin? Not a bad treasure. There aren't real great treasures on this map. The wood treasures are the best to find. Also, this 100 food in the middle of the map is not bad either.
Yeah, coin
But
treasures are actually pretty nice for Dutch. They need to mine less coin and to make villagers.
yeah,
The Dutch explorer actually getting caught a bit here by Chi Yuan and his
definitely.
disciple.
And I'm trying to find the Dutch envoy. Okay, I think it's
It was
coming
probably
in here.
escorting cows.
Yeah, I'd like to see the envoy come back here and try to just separate the green explorer and try to remove that snare. But it looks like he's close enough to his town that he can get back,
Yeah, he'll
and
be
it looks
fine.
like the envoy is just going to keep scouting, which is okay.
Both players shipping the 3 villagers shipment. China, of course, needs to jump through some hoops to get it to 3 villagers. But he did it fine. He has a double village. But yeah, it's 5 cows to 1 in favor of the Dutch player. That's pretty bad for China.
Yeah, China would really like to have those herdables fattening up on his livestock pens or his villages, and that can really give him a boost when he hits H3, and even opens up an opportunity to maybe go FI with those cows. But without them, he's gonna, I think, fall behind economically to Dutch. So we'll have to see how he makes up for that in terms of his unit shipments and composition in H3.
Dutch chopping a lot of wood for their early banks, of course, and China actually not getting this incredible treasure in the middle of the map, which is a geological survey showing promising ore veins. That thing is, of course, the best treasure ever.
Oh,
I'm not even sure what it does.
definitely.
I think it reveals all the all the mines on the map.
Yeah, that's right. So it doesn't give you a whole lot to offer there, but it's actually kind of a nice treasure. Once it's a bit of a luxury, I like to think of it. If you can get it, why not?
He's going for this 100 food treasure in the middle, which is pretty nice, of course.
Yeah.
China is, of course, a civ that can build villagers during their age up, so even after the age up, getting an extra bit of food is always nice.
Right. And you see here, actually important to note, is China is only aging up with 1 villager on the wonder. Normally they put 5 on this first wonder. So this makes me wonder if he's just going to chop all of the coin for the age up and save a shipment for H3. I know that that's a build that I think Mido popularized in the
You
last
might
tournament.
want to look at his deck.
Is it pretty FI oriented? Oh, okay. Definitely definitely looks to be an H4 deck. He could
Well,
also stay H3.
At the very least, he has prepared if the game does go to industrial.
Yes. And it's interesting to see what Dutch's response out of this is. I think if you're Dutch, you might even be content to just put up all of the banks that you can. You see him shipping 700 wood first. He might just make 2 banks out of that.
Yeah, there is no sign of a barracks or stable yet. He's just building a second bank, getting his market. We're probably going to see some decks being researched. Yeah, there we go. Placer mines on the way for Dutch.
Yep,
He's just going to eco his little heart out.
I think so. I also think if he drops the stable, that would also be a good option here, just to
But some
annoy
pressure on.
China. Yeah, because you can kind of bet that China isn't going to have any units out H2. At least not until they come from his summer palace. So you can get a lot of garrison time in there. But nonetheless, building banks is never a bad idea. So
Yeah, banks are pretty good.
yeah,
So he's also working on this wounded tiger at the moment. I mean, it's a tiger. It can scout a little bit together with his envoy,
Yeah.
I suppose. Oh, he's actually back herding this, sadly enough.
yeah, that's a little unfortunate. Shipping bank wagon here. So now he's gonna have 4 banks up here at the 6-minute mark, which is quite good. All that XP will get him his next shipment very soon.
I think China actually delayed his shipment by quite a bit. Only just now the 700 coin has arrived at 6 minutes. How much of it was an error or planned, but
Yeah, I'm not sure either. This is a bit of a later age up for him. He's putting 4 villagers on this wonder.
yeah, and he is aging with the tower, so
Yeah, the porcelain tower here, which Nets a resource trickle, which is, if you put it on wood, the equivalent of 8 bills on wood. So it's actually quite good.
I prefer to put it on the mixed resources because I'm a noob.
Yeah, it can be hard to macro, definitely.
You also just get that extra little bit of value where it also generates experience and export if you put it on the mixed resource.
Oh, okay.
I mean, technically the value is less because it's less villager seconds, but you know. I also just really love Sumptuary Laws, which is basically the same as the mixed resource trickle. It's an
Yeah,
H1 card that you can send.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I'm not too familiar with China.
It's something all
Though
Asian civs have instead of, you know that Russia has the wood
the
trickle, Dutch has
oh
the
right,
food trickle, I think. The Asian civs have a mixed trickle that also generates export and experience.
I see.
The India one is even a team trickle.
So the envoy is gonna be dropping here.
Boom,
Look.
crit, 21 damage. Get wrecked, Envoy.
Oh, he's just lying in the water too.
Dutch
Oh, poor
finally
guy.
getting some military production out, stable and barracks, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Dutch also on the way to fortress. Let's take a look at
Right.
market upgrades, hunting dogs and placer mines, and hunting eagles coming in for China. 700 wood was sent after the coin for China as well. He's getting a consulate and the war academy up. I don't think he's going to go straight industrial. I think it's just in case the game goes long, which is possible against Dutch. He just wants to have the possibility open of going for that industrial plan.
I think so too. Yeah, I think I saw him build some units here with his resources remaining.
Notably
So-
though, in the patch, old Han reforms did get a nerf, so China industrial is slightly weaker than it used to be.
That's a really good point and something I actually just forgot until you told me now.
Oh, and there we go, geological survey has been picked up. Dutch in a massive advantageous position now because he can see all the coin mines he had already scouted. Actually, no,
Definitely.
this one was not scouted yet. So the Dutch
Whoa.
player is the only one aware of that mine. Totally aware of the treasure.
How OP. Maybe Garya should consider taking that one out. Might be a little too good. Might be a little unfair.
for sure. He should add the TC wagon treasure instead. That one seems a lot more fun.
Oh, that reminds me of my days when I would play the Lost scenario. You familiar with that?
There's actually
you-
remaining there.
Oh,
Dutch getting some Hussar out finally. Just probably going for a raid here. But
Yeah,
China
just-
is in Fortress now, and we're gonna see a lot of powerful cards coming out soon, I think.
right. Going for a raid at this time almost feels a little awkward because you know China's going to have units out. Even just from the Summer Palace, they can shut this down. So Dutch is going to have to be really careful not to get these
Oh,
cav
wow.
caught. Oh.
And it seems that China is actually going pretty heavy on the cav. I think that might have been produced, but it might have been from the Summer Palace, the Forgotten Army, I think it's called, the
Yeah.
cav patch.
Oh. But those 4 Hus are catching 3 villagers. All of
Yeah,
those
they are
should
actually
pop.
veteran upgraded as well, so Dutch looking to go into some more Hussar here, probably even in Fortress. But yeah,
Yeah,
that
this-
fort is strange to say the least.
The fort is, to put it bluntly, not a good shipment.
It's just bad.
Yeah.
Ooh, and the Hussar might
Especially.
actually get caught here by the Forgotten Army.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think so.
And I
think
do
they
think
will.
that these Chinese cav are better than veteran Hussar.
It looks like that. It looks like they're winning this fight pretty hard. The Chinese cavalry is good in its own way because it has these whips that just almost give it a ranged attack, right?
Yeah,
They can
allowing this
attack
meteor
from-
hammer to actually just guide the Hussar.
Yeah, it's really helpful.
And of course, the
And
iron flails do have the splash radius of 1 if the Hussar don't get microed properly, but the Dutch player did micro his Hussar pretty well, spreading them out a bit.
Yeah. So
And the Dutch player did improve his herding a bit. We actually see a church coming out as well. I wonder what he's planned with that.
he must be planning to ship the advanced church card, which I assume he has in his deck. Yes.
He might
And
also be preparing for the Manchu with some spice, but that seems unlikely.
that could be. Yeah. He seems a little mismacroed, but if he does send mercs, then that would fix that. We have some interesting play coming out of both these players here. You see, China's just been kind of idle with his military here.
He's just massing a huge death ball.
Right. I mean, Dutch is like 9 skirms back here.
I actually took a look at the market upgrades, and the Dutch player only has the tier 1 upgrades. He has the gang saw, the hunting dogs, and the placer mines. No steel traps, no lock fume, I think it's called, and no amalgamation. While the China player has everything except imperial bureaucracy and the tier 2 coin and wood upgrades.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see steel traps at least out of the Dutch player. But we see China is looking to push here, and I think this is a great timing for him. His last 2 shipments have been 10 arquebusiers and the 5 iron flares.
Yeah,
flails.
China has a very big advantage here. Not even the mighty fort can hold this army.
Right.
And the Dutch player actually got coffee trade from his church.
And it looks like Dutch wants to go age 4. He's stockpiling 1,500 food and 2,000 coins. So if China can pressure in here, that'll be a really good timing.
Yeah, I really don't like this coffee trade deck. Like, he is nowhere near able to get 2 extra banks out here. He doesn't have the resources to, and he clicks up to industrial right there. And this coffee trade is just basically wasted at the moment. It's just slowing down all his units. And until he can make at least 1 bank, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that improvement at all, just because the slower unit speed is kind of a bothersome. I'd rather just send the 2 H1 cards.
Yeah, and the China livestock has fully fattened. Both the goat and the yak are completely fat. So the China player is going to have a lot of food. And he just has a massive army. I don't think the Dutch player will be able to hold this. It's just so much stuff.
Right, but China he's not being as aggressive as he should be, yeah.
I think he might have been waiting for the 7 half mortars that have just arrived. I'm not sure if he saw the fort, but he might just want to slowly push in here, raid the villagers a bit.
He saw the fort because he took a volley from it, and I honestly think that he's afraid of it, right? I think he doesn't want to push in there because I don't know why he sees the fort and he gets a little intimidated.
Ooh, and we actually have the Wardgelders here.
Yeah,
and these Wardgelders are going to catch these hand mortars, maybe.
Oh, that'd be big.
If he sees this. Ooh, they just run past, those hand mortars got lucky, but these villagers are in danger here. And I think China... Oh, he's going for the church. He just really needs to go in here. I mean, what is he waiting for?
I'm not quite sure.
I mean, the hand mortars are here now, but Dutch is H4 and he has a shipment ready. I mean, I guess the heavy cannons can just get built very easily. He doesn't have something like a Reuter shipment or something. I don't know if Dutch has access to any of those, but... Ooh, and if the Wardgelders go down here, this might be a huge raid.
Yeah, those represent a huge raiding force, right? They do so much damage.
Are being pulled back, and they actually get another huge batch of bills here. But I think the Dutch player realizes he needs them here in the fight, and he's going to try and take these hand mortars down with them.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this movement though, or of this plan, because
there's too much stuff here protecting these hand mortars, and a lot of the skirmishers are getting poked down by the Chinese guy. But there we go, the stadholders have arrived.
Oh, and 2 heavy
cannons.
Together
with the heavy cannons. Ooh.
Oh boy, oh boy.
This is a huge pop.
So
look at that volley. That was like 10 dead arquebusiers.
Oh, but those hand mortars are still...
The heavy cannons now, and
getting a few shots on there. Yeah, there's still 5 hand mortars left.
So a single one has died yet, but the next ball will probably go first hand mortar. Or the heavy cannon rather. It's still alive. They need 1 more shot probably. It has 0 hit points.
You'd almost want to see a priest coming out of the church that Dutch has dropped right now to
the church got sieged down sadly.
Bummer.
Yeah, these heavy cannons are slower because of this coffee trade. It has done absolutely nothing.
I did not know it affected all units. I thought it was just infantry or something.
Well, the UI lists it under one of the heavy cannon groups, so just look how slow these things are. If he got these hand mortars down, maybe like pushing a bit more aggressively with the stadholders in there, these heavy cannons could do so much work. He just really needs to pick off these remaining hand mortars. I'm not sure how many there are. There's 3 left. He needs to go pick those off.
I mean, Dutch has dropped an artillery foundry, so we might see a potential...
First heavy cannon goes down. And an iron match have arrived somewhere for China as well.
Look at these musks picking off 3 hand mortars just there. And is that all the hand mortars that are left?
Yeah, all the hand mortars are dead now. And the Manchus were idle for very long, and there's still one heavy cannon here with full hit points. I think the China player needs to wait for his Manchus. He cannot push it here against these Stadthausers, against this remaining heavy cannon. His
Yeah,
Cav
all those
might
those
get
Meteor
it,
Hammer.
but,
Oh, it dropped. He drops it though.
yeah, Meteor Hammers
And-
do have the 2x multiplier against artillery.
And now China looks to be in a commanding lead here, right? With their military population, the heavy cannons are dropped, the Stadthausers are dropped.
And these minimum were called way too late. They should have been called earlier.
Yeah,
And Dutch just lost all his H4 pressure. The Stadthausers are dead. The heavy cannons are dead. His fort is about to die.
right.
And
He
there's
still
still
has
9
like
Manchu here.
still has 1,300 coin left or so. So I mean, if you can get units
Finish
out.
Hackapels.
Oh, but these Manchu are just gonna tear them apart. Hackapels are.
He needed to ship those to
notoriously
deal
low.
with the hand mortars, not to deal
Yeah.
with the Manchu.
Touch has been sending a lot of mercenary type units with the Hackapels, the Stadthausers, and the Ward
Guard
slot.
counters.
Yes, that was.
And look at these Hackapels actually. If these can survive just 121 hand attack, these
Right,
can
it-
almost kill a disciple in one hit.
You'd almost like to see them raid now. I feel like Dutch needs to do something to.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
These can do nothing in defense. The Manchu would just rip them to shreds. They just need to just go like this. And he
Yeah.
even knows there are villagers like all over the map for China. And these
Exactly.
villagers will get two-shot by the Hackapels, so... Some Hussar...
mean-
I don't know, I don't get why he's making Hussar.
Right, especially when you saw the Manchu shipment. I
There's
think, like,
actually
pure
one hammer. I'm not
skirm-
sure if China made that or if it's one that I missed remaining from the shipment. And he's actually making some standard army. Actually, no, this isn't standard. This is I don't know the name, but it's
I don't know what
the
it's
pike-
called either, because no one makes it,
It's
right?
the pikemen and the kashiks.
Yeah, I almost wonder if that was a misclick there. So,
I would assume so. I wonder what his summer palace is set to. I think Forgotten Army because I see another batch of Cav here.
okay. So Dutch made 3 falconets out of his artillery foundry.
4 actually.
Oh, 4.
And we see a factory wagon arriving.
Oh, the
That thing needs to
good.
be tasked to heavy cannons in my opinion.
Yeah, I think heavy cannons would be good.
Falconets just are too fragile to these Manchu. The heavy cannons have a lot more hit points.
Right, you
And
have to
just more
wonder.
damage as well.
I mean, how is Dutch going to deal with these Manchu here? Nothing he has on the field counters him. He really needs some skirmishers. He is making some Reuters now.
He needs to get his church up again and make some spies and like put them in stealth mode over here and just like hope the Manchu walk over them.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Oh, and he's actually
Although-
repairing his fort as well. That's so expensive.
Yeah, the
He
fort.
probably spent like 200 wood and 150 coin on repairing that.
Yeah, I'm still not a fan of the fort, though it did buy him a lot of time tanking all those mortar shots. But
And he's actually losing some Reuters here to these arquebusiers as well.
yeah, I mean, just imagine if the fort had been 1,000 wood or 1,000 coin or any number of other shipments, really.
Just
Yeah.
anything but the fort. Also,
Yeah.
taking on the look at the text completed, China did get the Imperial Bureaucracy and the Flumen ditching, the second tier for coin and the all upgrade that the Asians
Right.
get. So
Okay.
he's actually ahead in eco at the moment to the Dutch.
And he
player.
has the whole map, right?
Yeah. Dutch actually is going to need to build a mill soon.
He's even dropped Monastery and is now making Fusiliers, which is an interesting choice. I think if you're China here, what you do in this situation, it is difficult to push in because Dutch has these falconets and these culverins in this fort. I think maybe you just sit back and age.
Yeah, he actually has the resources to go to industrial. He just needs a bit more coin,
Yeah, I like this.
and then he can, just ship his 21 Shokunu, ship his 21 Pike, infinite 2 Flying Crow. He just has a much better industrial deck than the Dutch player.
Yeah, and we see the wonder being laid here now.
Let's see
And,
which number it is. I think that's a Confusion Academy.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess it's the one that makes flying crows. And China is making hand mortars here to try to deal with this falconet pressure.
Yeah, that's not going to work. There's 2 Coverins.
Yeah. Honestly,
A Coverin actually one-shots a hand mortar, I think. Yeah. It does.
I did not know that.
It's times 4. It's 40 times 4, and the hammer that has 110 defense.
I think Dutch can just go in with his army and just win this. If he gets those Chang'ao in hand mode.
He needs to snipe the hand mortars first with his culverins. Actually needs to toss them better as well, because at the moment they're both shooting at the same hand mortar. And yeah, there we go. One culverin takes out 2 hand mortars.
Those culverins are brutal. But these Manchu are getting some good shots in here, and the Reuters just
the
do
Hussar
not.
are in the same group as the infantry and the cannons, and they are running so slow.
Yeah, China just needs to put all of his units in there at the same time.
And the culverins actually got picked off. There's just too many hand mortars. And now the Falconets are going to die to the hand mortars.
There is still
a
heavy cannon left, which can do a massive amount of damage. But again,
most
you
of
just
the
have
hand mortars have been taken down. There is still some Fusiliers somewhere though, but I can't find them. Are they like in the somewhere?
I don't know.
Oh, they're idle.
Oh,
wait, those
yeah.
are Redcoats, I don't know.
Along with the...
He shipped the Brigade ship. Or not the Brigade
Yeah.
ship, the 1200 export one, I think it is.
Right, from the consulate.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we
look
saw...
at the China army, the same thing. His scav is grouped together with his artillery, and just like, look at his army.
And it almost looked like we had a pike in cover mode or something, or maybe they're just going along with the hand mortars.
Yeah, the hand mortars were still in shooting mode, and the army was drag boxed together with it. And they're actually going to catch some fills here.
I mean, China cleaned up that fight pretty easily, all the while aging up behind it, so...
And look at this. This factory is incredibly exposed, and he did rebuild his church actually as well, so... I mean, he might actually be planning on getting some spies out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Where are these Fusiliers? Oh, I found one of them.
There are a couple of them up by the fort here that are dying to the Reuters.
Another heavy cannon coming out for Dutch, but he just has very little to protect it.
We see Green is still drag boxing his army with the mortars. Mortars, which
Making
I'm not...
so many more hand mortars, but with China now being an industrial, I think this game is just over.
Yeah,
China has a better
definitely.
economy, better late game because of his deck. And he also just has the map. Dutch is on mills, and he's probably chopping wood for another mill somewhere.
Yeah, and China has even adjusted to be on mills himself, so I think this game looks to be in his favor, and you just gotta finish it out. Oh, seems like an interesting shipment here again. I don't know how much it's going to accomplish, but the Swiss Pike are not bad. I think people don't give them as much credit, especially if you can just kind of jam them in there with everything else. They can do a lot of damage.
For sure, if you put those in cover mode, they
Yeah.
just do damage. To be honest, like if I was a China player, I would task my hand mortars with the factory instead of this fort.
I think so too. I mean, the hand mortars are not even doing much damage to the
Ooh,
fort.
look at these Redcoats and the Fusiliers going into the heavy cannons. Ooh, ouch. They need to go in hand attack, then they can actually win this, I think.
Yeah, he's just letting some units fall for free there.
Like, this Dutch army is actually scary, and it looks, because these Swiss pikemen represent a lot of population. The problem is they need to actually get in there and hit stuff.
Yeah, honestly, if Dutch just goes here with these two heavy cannons, this is actually pretty scary.
Also, these raiders are not actually honor guard yet.
No.
Well, the arquebusiers do have their honor them rate. Honor guard,
Two-
honor guard, I'm not sure which one.
Two culverins dropping for the Dutch player, but
Yeah,
still...
instantly dead to meteor hammers. This time
Yeah.
still against artillery that the meteor hammers have together with the ranged attack is just massive. But it's not really range, it's just a melee attack with range,
Right.
which is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, look
The
how far
Hamburgers
they're
get
hitting.
taken down though. This
Yeah,
one
so-
brave woman is protecting this heavy cannon.
I don't know who won this fight, really. think it's
I'd say
no one knew
Dutch
that.
because Dutch was behind and went relatively even in the fight.
True. The Dutch did lose a lot of resources in his two heavy cannons and Swiss pikemen.
Yes.
China's still ahead in the economic, in the recalculated economic unit population.
By a lot.
Yeah, 84 to 73. He just needs to have the right composition to push into these heavy cannons. Two
Yeah.
flying crows coming now.
And he
I
can
like
ship that
this.
card as long as he wants. He has the infinite. And I'm taking a look. China just has the first 2 tiers of its rice paddy, while Dutch does not have a single mill upgrade yet.
Yeah, and interesting to note, which is a bit of a mistake, I think. China age 2, age 4 with the Confucian Academy instead of the wonder that spawns flying crows.
That is the one that spawns flying crows.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was the one that gives disciples upon age up.
No, that's the white pagonda.
Ah, okay. Okay. That makes more sense. Because, yeah, that's the best wonder to age up to age 4, just because flying crows become a really good unit.
Yeah, but now that he has infinite 2 crows that he can ship forever, and he's making more and more hammers, I don't think Dutch can hold it. He's relying very heavily on these heavy cannons. And
yeah.
while Goverins do really well against ham mortars, the flying crows are a bit more difficult.
Yeah, the
He's
flying
actually getting
crows...
the honored upgrade for the ham mortars.
Okay. Oh, that was a good volley there, taking out the heavy cannon. Or just about taking it out. Oh, there it goes.
I think that now the Goverin actually doesn't one-shot the hand mortars anymore until he gets the guard Goverin upgrade. I don't know what it's called.
I don't either. I'm not very well versed
Rebellier
on
or
my,
something, I think it is.
I'm not well versed on my guard artillery upgrades, to be honest. Oh, and these mortars are getting picked up a bit.
I know the Falcon, it is a field cannon. The guard upgrade.
Yes. I know that.
But we need to see how much damage these Goverins do now, but I think they might just come short just a bit of one-shotting the hand mortars. I'm not sure if it was a ×3 or ×4 multiplier, I forgot.
And we have a bit of a stalemate here. The Culverins are picking off these mortars.
Okay, they still one-shot them. So he needs... Yeah, he's 25 HP short. No, well, 26 HP short of not being one-shot.
Those Culverins are actually doing just so well against those hand mortars. That's insane.
Yeah, once he gets enough Goverins out, China actually cannot deal with artillery.
Alright,
He also needs to dox them better, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just 2 Goverins wasted on 1 hammer.
Though China does have 3 flying crows and a Falcon head out.
And yeah, the hand mortars are down, but there's more in the back now, and there's still flying crows as well here. And these are a lot more difficult to take down.
Those flying crows need to get shots on these heavy cannons.
Yeah,
otherwise the Chink Dao are just dying way too quickly.
Not shipping Bank of Amsterdam here. I'm sure there's something he can ship that's better than that.
Yeah. Do you think a bank
Old
is about
Han reforms coming in for China. I actually do not like that. He doesn't have any Old Han really built yet. You really want to ship Old Han reforms after you have a lot of Old Han, but I don't think it's gonna matter. China is just in such an advantageous position.
Yeah, he cleaned that fight up really well. Killed a lot of Dutch's artillery, which is a lot of resources invested if you think of all the time that a factory is not on resources.
For sure, and he actually repaired the fort again.
And there it is, GG coming in, and SuperNapoleon taking game number 1 in this best of 3 in the round of 128.
Yeah, at the end, Dutch just... I mean, he was on a single mill that was completely unupgraded.
Yeah.
Well, if you look over here on the China side, just look at these rice paddies. And they had really good upgrades as well. He also has the porcelain tower, of course.
The heavy cannons were more of just a means to survive, and really he could never push out. He could never gain tempo, gain map, and do any damage to China. And he just slowly died to China's growing economy.
Yeah, pretty well played by China there. I do think he needed to push in a bit earlier, though. He had a really big advantage, and I know it's scary sometimes, but he really had such a strong timing window there.
Yeah, and I think Dutch went for an interesting sort of semi-FI ship merc strategy. I think standard Dutch would be better in that situation where you reach H3 with like 5 banks and then just make Skirmbroider.
Yeah, and his coffee train never did anything.
Yeah.
He never made a 6th or 7th bank.
And your economy in mid-game as Dutch is one of the best in the game, and you can just snowball that into so many units out on the field.
And it seems we're going to have India against Otto for game 2. These players not really following the Civ picking rules, but if they're both agreeing to this matchup, I suppose it's no problem.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, you don't see a whole lot of Ottoman play on the ESOC patch, so
I think it's the first time I see them for sure.
I think same for me. Alrighty. In the northeast of the map here, we have SuperNapoleon in the color green playing the civilization India. And in the bottom left, cbrutkow, aka Mr. Cow, I guess I will like to call him. Playing Ottomans in the color red.
Idling a couple of his villagers for a second there. Of course, that's no problem. Ottoman gets free villagers anyway, so you can just throw them away.
That's right.
Going for a very early TP.
Yeah, I believe it was a wood start for both players. Ottoman is going to drop an early TP. I will like to point out that this TP is actually the one you should go for off the bat with a wood start, since it is the one in which you will build it just as the travois passes it, and you'll get your experience the quickest.
Even if you come from the bottom left?
Even if you come from the bottom left, yeah, from both town centers, I believe.
Okay.
As long as you make it quick. So, but Ottoman is dropping it here. That's okay. It's not going to make too much of a difference, and he is going to pick up the 75-point treasure.
Yeah, India going for a 95 wood treasure. That's really nice for him. That's almost an extra villager.
Yeah, that is such a good treasure.
It's going to mean he needs to chop basically one villager less worth of wood in age 1. Which is going to speed up his age up a little bit. Oh, it seems my Skype has crashed, so we might need to re-establish connection with Colin. Sorry for that, guys. Luckily it's a bit in the beginning of the game, so...
Hello?
Hello?
Hey.
Yeah, my Skype
Okay.
crashed there for a moment, sorry for that.
No problem. We're back in business.
Luckily it was early on, so I was able to fix it. So yeah, India
that's
going
good.
for a 50 wood treasure here. Let's see if there was any other good treasures picked up. No, not really.
This is great for India. They got about 150 wood and treasures
Yeah.
before 2 minutes 30, so it's quite good.
That might actually allow him to maybe even take a TP of his own if he really wants to.
Yeah. We see Ottoman did pick up an Iroquois Tomahawk. I'd really like to see that in the mid-map and trying to find the villager dropping the aggro and harass it a bit.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe he can even
Let's-
block the aggro, but actually no, it's way too late already. But he might be able to harass these villagers indeed.
Aggro's already going down, so he won't block it, but maybe he could harass the villager or just do some scouting like he's electing to do. Ottoman is dropping another trading post.
Yeah, he should advance TP. Let's take a look at his deck.
see
If he
that.
has the Silk... Yeah, he has the Silk Road card.
Yeah, so he might opt for that build order. He did gather up all of his starting crates, so I'm not quite sure how to do the Silk Road build order there. I'm not too familiar with Ottoman, but it looks like he might just be taking this TP line.
And did this get like sieged down at some point, or is that because he made it before advanced TP arrived?
Oh, good question. I think it's because he made it before before ATP, right? Because it was 2,500 out of the 3,750. I didn't know that happened.
Me neither. Interesting.
Yeah.
By the way, I took a look at India's deck, and he actually has GFA, so we'll have to see if that comes into play.
Yeah. Ottoman is also building a trading post with the villager.
And I do like this. India sees the deck, sees that the Ottoman player is taking some extra TP, so he can kind of guess it's going to be a stagecoach build. So he's stealing one of the TPs. Also the one that's closest to his aggro, which is really good.
I like that too. If you can, anytime you can contest the TP line, that's good. If you can get 2 3Ps or 2 trading posts to your opponent's 3, it can really become, and he upgrades stagecoach. I
Yeah.
can't talk today. It can become advantageous for you just because your opponent is wasting 400 resources.
To
And you
basically give
still-
you 8 villagers.
Right.
It's like, hey, I'm spending 400 resources, I get 16 villagers, but here, you can have these 8. Sorry, he gets 12, not 16. And yeah, the Ottoman player is like, hey, I'm gonna build a TP here. Wait, why
Yeah.
is there a green TP here? I don't like this.
You can even hear the sound when the building gets deleted.
Yeah.
You know, so you know he had already placed it. But let's look at text being researched. I'm interested to see when he queues up stagecoach.
I think
Not
it's
yet.
not in the UI, sadly.
Oh, I did not know that. That's okay.
You just have to watch his resources and see when he spends 200.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think it might have already been queued up, maybe. I don't know, it's a bit annoying sometimes. 600 wood coming for India. If you can actually siege down maybe this TP now, you might be able to take another one with that 700. But it's going to be difficult. Advanced TPs are really difficult to take down. They have so much hit points.
Exactly.
Except this one, of course, because it was built before the card, which apparently makes it bug out. I'm not sure if that's intended.
I'm not sure either. It could be, but nonetheless, that's kind of in an awkward position for the India player to siege. And that's one of the main benefits of ATP, really, is that you can't just start sieging it with 2 sepoys. You have to have like a sizable amount of units in order to siege a trading post effectively.
And it's why ATP is better than the Asian equivalent, because while the Asian equivalent does give you a free TP Travaux, it doesn't give it the attack, and the attack is just so powerful. And there we go, Stagecoach has been researched now.
Yeah.
So we'll probably see Silk Road coming in relatively soon. I'm not sure how much it gives.
He might not just do that at all.
25%.
I think that's the earlier that card is sent, the better. And then since he sent 3 villas instead, I don't think we'll see it. But the Ottoman player is also dropping an artillery founder, so it looks like he's just going to go for some Jan Abus with his economy supplemented by these stagecoach TPs.
700
that's-
coin arriving for him.
That's honestly a good strategy because one of Ottoman's biggest drawbacks is that their economy is just so slow because they spawn villagers so slowly. So they really rely upon shipments and other ways to get resources.
I did some math, by the way, and Silk Road would be about 4 villagers at the moment.
Okay. It's not bad. Doesn't
Pretty good market upgrades for India. None for
Yeah.
Ottoman.
no market for Ottoman? Oh, he's
Well, I'm
dropping
not sure if
now.
he has a market, but he has no market upgrades.
Yeah, he's just building it.
And there we go, Silk Road has arrived.
But I mean, Jan Avis is a good combo. Although Avis
For
did
sure.
get their rate of fire slightly reduced in the EP, they're still such a high DPS unit. And really,
Sure,
India
they're-
doesn't have anything on the field to stop Ottoman from sieging this TP. India's going to age.
Yeah, it does look like it. I mean, he does have a lot of H3 cards.
This is I don't like this move, honestly. I feel like you can't give Ottoman the entire TP line. It just feels wrong.
He's also aging with the Taj Mahal, which I think is the Ceasefire Wonder.
Okay.
Now that these Abyss guns are here, I think the Seapoy need to fall back immediately.
Yeah, 5 Avis hitting the floor. Now Ottoman can just build that TP and have the entire line, and that's Ottoman with 5 TP stagecoach.
That's 25
not,
villagers, basically.
that's not something you want to play against ever. And India even has a strong H2. I think that they could definitely contend with Ottoman here. But instead he's just going to age up, and we'll see what his game plan is from there.
I think his game plan is get Yurumi, use Ceasefire, get Yurumi on top of stuff, hope stuff dies.
That's not a bad strategy, to be honest. Yurumi are such a good unit.
Yeah, the only problem is getting him in range, which Ceasefire allows them to do quite easily.
Right.
Ottoman putting some pressure on this board.
Yeah, I like this. There's no reason not to. He's just as such the military lead here. and he can recognize that.
Yeah,
Just-
this fort is in a very awkward position for his TP.
Yeah. India should just run his remaining units back. There's no reason to fight this.
I do like that he
just-
put the elephant on the Abyss guns.
That is
doing
good,
a
but
reasonable
he
amount
just
of
has he has nothing to kill the Abyss though besides a few Gurkha.
Yeah,
He should probably just like let this aggro fort die and just sort of regroup at home. But
yeah, he needs to save these elephants for when he's actually going to fight his army.
yeah, it just feels like a bit of a blunder here. And I mean, behind this, India only has a stable, doesn't have a Rex or any other means of production. So
yeah,
losing
the
this
aggro fort going
aggro,
down, that's his barracks.
right? Like it's sort of a big deal. In the military population, okay, it's 39-5, but just a second ago it's 39-0. I don't know how India can really make up that gap.
I feel like this GFA card in his deck might have been better as Colonial Militia. Or well, Enlisted Regulars, which is the Asian version of that. Also, I don't think he needs food silos and sustainable agriculture against Ottoman.
Right, you think his deck could be a little better optimized here.
For the matchup, yeah, for sure. Minimum
Okay,
coming out.
sentries being popped. I would like that time with a unit shipment, or is that what those Gurkhas were? Okay, that's what the Gurkhas were.
Yeah.
So he's gonna push Ottoman back here a bit, but I don't think it's enough.
Yeah, Abyss attack has been shipped by Ottoman.
Yeah, and Abyss, especially when you start massing them, they're such a good unit. Though you
Even
do
with
see
the
them,
rate of fire nerf, they're just
Right.
so powerful.
though they are overkilling quite a bit here, which is sort of an issue with high damage units like that, but nonetheless, doing work.
I mean, when you have 7 units to 1, I think overkilling is a bit unavoidable. These
Yeah.
two Mahouts, though, they might be able to do some work here if these Janissaries can be picked off by the TC fire. Oh, ceasefire being used. He needs to
Yep.
use that to get his Mahouts in position, I think.
I don't know if it's worth it though. I mean, Mahouts on their own are not that great. Even with units, I'm not a huge fan of Mahouts just because their pathing is awkward.
For sure.
And it seems like they die way too quickly for how much they're worth, population-wise. You know, you'd almost wonder if India should make Howdah here, their sort of Dragoon unit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like to use that ceasefire. You either use it to get your units in position, you don't just use it to save a house.
Right, he just must be trying to buy it any time that he can. I mean, the military population is now 63-18. Oh my gosh. Don't know what India's gonna do. We might see game 3 here, I believe.
Oh yeah, I should update the score. Yeah, I don't think... Wait, who was that one game 1? Was it Napoleon or Cow?
It was Napoleon.
Okay. But yeah, there's just so much Ottoman stuff here.
Yeah, there's no reason for him to be backing away.
And
from
I
this
think
either.
that Abyss actually do full damage to Mahouts because their range attack is more like a cannon actually, so it ignores range resist.
Yeah, exactly. That's part of what makes Abyss so good. Though the Mahout was able to get in there, but I mean, you see 2 Mahouts drop for the equivalent of like 3 Abyss. And now here's the 3rd
I
Mahout.
think it was exactly 3 Abyss, yes.
Yeah, it's just... I just don't like them as a unit.
Well, especially
And,
by themselves.
Right. And those 3 Mahouts were all India had. Military is now 77-0. And at this point, I expect to see a resign any time from India, really.
I mean, the game's definitely over.
Yep,
Yeah,
there it is. So GG's being called. Mr. Cow is winning the 2nd game here.
And Napoleon saying he expected the FF. I don't think that if you look at the Ottoman's deck, you would expect an FF. That is very
Yeah.
clearly an H2 advanced TP build.
Especially if you see all the trading posts being dropped, if you expect your opponent is going to FF, then you should do your very best to apply pressure and retake the trading post line.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that was India's #1 mistake in this game, was just letting Ottoman run away with the trading route essentially for free.
And the H2 fortress was also completely unnecessary. Anyway,
Right.
game 2 goes to Mr. Cow.
Yeah, I mean, well played by him. It's a good strategy, and he executed it well.
Yeah, turns out that having a lot of stuff is pretty good.
Five trading posts in Stagecoach is good as well.
And why is it good? Because it can fund a lot of stuff.
There it is. Positive feedback.
Together with the Silk Road, I think it's about 25 villagers, that DP line,
Yeah, it's quite good.
which is just ridiculous for 500 wood, I think it is, for the TPs, and then so 700 wood, 200 food for 25 villagers.
All right, I'm gonna look up the Civ rules here. So,
I know the rules. The Civ pool is reset.
oh yeah, they can play anyone. There it is.
Ooh, I like this big
So-
by Napoleon. I always have a soft spot in my heart for people that play Japan. It's difficult for me to stay unbiased then.
Yeah, I feel the same way when people play Brits. I think we all have that civilization, deep down in our heart of hearts that we all just like to see, that we like to play, and that we like to see other people play.
I think winner picks first.
Oh yeah,
Picks first. Ooh, it might seem we'll get Spain against Japan here.
interesting pick.
Oh, and Japan actually clicking into it, even though he, technically speaking, has the option to counterpick here.
Yeah,
I'm not
interesting
sure how
choice
good
here.
Spain is on Pampa Sheras, though there's no TPs.
Right, another non-TP map, which is a sort of recurring theme.
We forgot free to roll. Luckily, one of the players noticed it.
We're noob casters. So yeah, in this round of 128, 2 out of the 3 maps in the map pool are non-TP maps.
I do like that. I despise TPs. They're so
I like it
imbalanced.
too, especially because the current meta is such TP oriented that most people are practicing with those civs and those build orders that it sort of opens things up. But nonetheless, we do see Spain as a civ choice here.
I would like to see a water map in the pool, though, for this round of 128, but, you can't have everything.
That's right.
So yeah, we have Spain in the top and Japan in the bottom. This is the final game in this best of 3. Oh, and immediately I don't like this order placement, especially against Spain.
Yeah, it seems a little forward. So there are the llamas that spawn on this left side of the map. And we see Spain is sending his dog over there right away. You'd like to see Japan send at least one explorer and his cherry orchard over. But he's just going to place the other cherry orchard way in front of his TC.
I don't like those order placement. I would actually send both monks to the llamas.
Yeah, I
mean,
would too.
they're not that good for Japan, but just denying them from the opponent is very important.
Yeah, especially when they are. I mean, they're going to spawn in the left. Anytime you don't go immediately to the left, when you play on Pampa Sierras, I think that's a bit of a blunder.
Ooh, and you might actually get a contention over this 90 food treasure here.
Yeah, Spain is just going to chill out. Oh, but he's been scouted by the Green Explorer. We'll see how this plays out.
And he
Oh.
gets it as well.
That was a cheeky crack shot. I like it.
And yeah, it seems like the Japan player just wants to actually go for some treasures. I'm going to
Yeah.
try to actually not get them stolen then, though. It's pretty important.
I mean, it's possible he may not know about the llamas on the left side of the map. I guess if you aren't too familiar with ESOC maps, there could be...
And he actually... I think the Japan player might actually be confused as to where he spawned, because his consulate is in the back and his orchard's on the front.
Yeah, that is backwards, as you pointed out. Yeah, again, a bit of a mistake here from the green player.
I actually don't mind a consulate in the back, but I do mind orchards in the front.
Right. It'd be so easy for Spain to just apply pressure here. The saving grace for Japan is that Spain will most likely FF, so he can possibly hold off the FF pressure ahead of here, but I don't know.
The problem with that is I'll actually need to take a look at the deck first as well to see. Oh, I do not like Japan's deck. Actually, a poof being forced here.
Yeah, I thought he was going to lose his Explorer, which would have been quite big, but...
And he is working on the 120 experience treasure. But yeah, I don't like this Japan deck.
I don't think
do not need GFA as Japan, especially in Supremacy.
I don't think I've
treaty
ever
you can use
seen...
it, but...
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen 11 Sohi allies in a Japan deck either. I don't know.
That can work in certain builds, but against Spain, I really think you need to enlist the regulars.
Oh, he doesn't even have that.
No,
Yeah.
it's very important to deal with the Falconets.
Yeah, I agree.
With enlisted regulars, your TC can actually just beat Falconets.
Yeah, definitely seems like a good card to have.
And his Shogun is also in a very awkward spot, in my opinion. I would have preferred putting it up maybe on D's tier.
Right, there are different school of thoughts there. Some people like it up front just because it provides another building to sort of block off the front of your base, but the rest of his building placements haven't followed that.
Yeah, especially
ideology.
with his orchard placement, it just doesn't seem right. I guess his thought is like, I need something to protect my orchards, but why would you do that by putting your Teshuga in a vulnerable position when you could just make your orchards behind your base?
Yeah, and we see an early wall here.
Ooh, the other explorer actually maybe going down here. Yeah. Oh, the dog with 0 HP. Never lucky baby rage.
Wow, that's brutal. Oh, and he was definitely planning on shrining that. So this is going to slow down Japan's shrine boom quite a bit here. And Japan is just going to be happy walling.
I think he should put maybe 2 villagers on this Toshugo shrine.
That could be. I think one is okay.
Well, he picked up an experience treasure, so the faster you age up, the faster you can send your shipments.
That's true.
I also think these wall placements are a bit awkward. I'm pretty sure the Falconets can still shoot everything from behind that wall if they want to.
Right. I mean, his cherry orchards aren't even hardly protected just because they're so close to his wall. A bit of an unfortunate mine placement here. It's in the front of his TC.
Yeah. I also don't understand why he's like making this awkward tiny circle when there is like perfectly fine map borders here that he could use to finish off his wall.
Yeah, especially on the right side. I would agree with that.
There's no reason to make this super awkward tiny circle where you will run out of building placement very quickly.
Yeah, I mean the distance that goes off just to the edge of that cliff is the same.
We might actually get a colonial play from Spain here.
Oh, double racks being dropped. Okay, I did not expect this, but I like it. Because Japan, you have to play early game versus Japan, I feel. Unless you go for very early fortress timing. Both out of trading post, I think the colonial play is good out of Spain. I think he can do a lot of damage with how forward Japan's cherry orchards and mine are.
Yeah, for sure. These orchards are probably going to lose him the game if Spain capitalizes on it.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, that's a lot of pikes.
Spain ships 8 pike and then makes 10. And I don't know why. Oh, he's going to try to siege this shrine.
I would just right-click this to Shugo with those pikes, I think.
That's exactly what he should do. It's not even in range of the TC, I don't believe. I mean, he is...
I think it is partially, like, I don't think all 18 pike will be able to siege this Shogo out of range of the TC.
I mean, he just has too many idle pikes. He's 18 pikes on the floor. He needs to be sieging. I think
he's
the
waiting
shrine.
for some bows to protect them.
Yeah. So I think a bit of you has to have sort of an internal clock that Japan is just not going to have units out at this time.
He actually has a single Yumi. He didn't get a match out.
And the
and this is so painful as Japan. You just see this like 10 pikes or however many it is just sieging your Teshub and you're like, I guess I die.
The military population is now 24 to 5. I mean, it's just In this Explorer,
There's an explorer here training war
he's
dogs
building
inside.
dogs. He's building dogs, and this is gonna be so good.
Yeah,
Oh, there it
this
is. It's gonna
showcase
take
what's
care of those
gonna
unions. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Really, I love how Red is playing this game. This is just so good.
Japan played this game very poorly. He needed to get rid of this explorer. Maybe just put like 2 villagers in his DC, scare him off.
I mean, your Explorer infiltrating the walled town to build 5 dogs is so good, so smart.
Yeah, more than 5, I think, range 6 or 7.
I don't think I would have thought of that. Like, that's very. I really like this. Now he's just gonna go for the town center. So.
Japan is that there's something.
Yeah. He's trying to fight with some bills here to tank a little, but it's just it's not gonna be enough.
Yeah, his archers were poorly placed. His walling was also not ideal.
Yeah.
And just, I think it was called off guard by the Spain colonial play.
I think so too. If I'm Japan in this matchup, I would just assume that
It's a fast
Spain
fortress.
is going to attack and hit you with an early timing.
Yeah.
But instead, they do this double racks rush, and it's really worked out well for him.
He did need to scare the explorer, though those war dogs just shredded the Yumi.
Yeah, that
It
was.
would have mattered, but just putting like 1 or 2 villagers in the PC, get the explorer down, our forces to run away. At least he would have had a chance this game, but
Yeah, if you're Japan, you should maybe recognize that the Explorer kind of holds that potential to build those war dogs. But I mean,
I think he might hold this. Maybe.
no, I mean there's
Oh, wait,
10
no,
more
DC
fights
is dead, never
coming.
mind.
It's gone. This is it.
I thought the explorer above the TC was actually the halbar for the TC, but yeah, never mind.
I mean, Spain even has 6 rods that have just been idle for the last how long?
Yeah, but even if Japan had somehow held this, like, at what cost? His shrine is gone. He's at 50 shrine bomb. He has 1 barracks. He has no
This game
space to build
is
anywhere.
over. Definitely finished. There it is.
Calls GG, and Cow actually coming back from
Yeah,
losing the first game.
that was I'm really impressed by him these last 2 games.
I feel like Napoleon might have buckled a bit too much under the stress of playing in this.
That's definitely a factor that can't be ignored.
Yeah,
And
both players acknowledged that they were feeling very nervous for this game, so maybe Napoleon just buckling a bit under the nerves.
yeah, that's true. For those of you guys who don't know, shortly before we went live, we were talking to the players, and both of them admitted that they're pretty nervous for this. And I don't blame them. If I was playing in the round of 28, my hands would be shaking, my palms would be sweating, I'd be misclicking everywhere. So
Sure, like, I think this was a captain and a first lieutenant, so
yeah,
they actually managed to get past the group stage, which is a very impressive feat for both of them.
right. It's congratulations to them that they made it this far, and to Mr. Cow for reaching the
He
He's
actually
gonna be in the
advances, I think, to the round of 64.
round of
Right?
64.
This is
Yep.
this is single elimination, I believe.
That's correct.
So yeah, the first series is won by Cow, and I think we are still waiting for the other players. Let me take a look at the schedule.